I actually really love a good recession, and the reason for that is because it really sharpens the minds of an organisation, and I think it's very easy during a boom, particularly to get sloppy around basic business processes because your doors are open, customers coming in and they're spending just because of high disposable incomes. During a recession, where you get to is, you are actually fighting for share of wallet. The good thing about also a recession is it does clear out some of the badly performing retailers, and that might be in terms of how they're structured, in terms of a debt, or it might be their experience and the customers falling out of love with them. I think a lot of the innovative retailers are really blurring the boundaries, and that innovation is really starting to breed success. The thing is, looking at the supermarket sector, which is one of the things that they've done incredibly well, which is taken technology, which has up to now been seen as an online fad, and actually taken it into their offline stores. So the ability to walk around a supermarket, scan your product, and actually put it into your bag directly, and then feel rather smug at the cash desk where you don't have to queue, where there's lots and lots of queues of people waiting to put the stuff onto a conveyor belt, has created a brilliant customer experience, and people are just loving it. So another example of where technology actually really helps in an in-store environment is one of the things that we're doing at Oasis at the moment, which is using iPads as tills, which is giving the store teams an electronic tool essentially for looking on the web, for sharing stuff, taking photos of customers, etc., but also completing the transaction in a very mobile way. One of the trials that we've got going on at the moment is the introduction in our Westfield Stratford store, which is a vertical cash desk, because our future vision is, the more mobile tills we can have with the store teams means actually the less you need physical space. So rather interestingly for me, I hear and speak to a lot of head office teams who feel that actually they are enabling their store teams by the introduction of technology in their working lives. The reality is most of us have a younger workforce, depending on which brand you are, but we have a young workforce who are using technology every single day in their lives. And actually they just leave it at the door when they come to work, and that is because retail is not embracing it. So actually their tools are old-fashioned, but they work around it. So when retailers are saying that they're introducing Wi-Fi for their staff, etc., for me, I believe Wi-Fi is a fundamental human right, and as a result, actually the store teams aren't thinking, wow, I've got Wi-Fi. What I'm thinking is, gosh, how long is it taking you to catch up with that?
Customer shopping behaviour has changed dramatically over the years. So from going to the old days where people just went to shop and bought whatever they had in shop, now they're actively doing lots of research before they actually go to the shop, or perhaps research, touch and feel, sit on a sofa, lie in a bed, and then go back and transact at home. And giving this technology and this tool to customers gives them lots more information and puts them in control about how they want to control their shopping journey, whether it's through phone, catalogue, shops, or online, the whole way through. So there's a big change that we're seeing there. And that brings lots of demands on the business, because frankly customers look at the business as one brand. So one of the key things for us is how do we change our business the way that it's structured that reflects that. So we've made the transition from moving from having a separate direct business that was in a separate building way away to actually sort of integrate that fully into the rest of the business together, so that the entire business starts to think in a multi-channel or omni-channel way, and that sort of meets the future aspirations. A very good example to illustrate this used to be perhaps a customer who would spend an hour with a selling assistant in the shop inquiring about a television. That selling assistant tried really hard to close the sale there and then, and the customer would say, "Thank you very much indeed, I'll go home and I'll think about it and I'll order online." And historically the member of staff think that they'd lost the sale, when actually as long as the sale was completed in the online business, then that was fine, and it was all about securing the sale within the brand rather than letting it go to one of our competitors. So one of the key changes that we made was to allocate the sales to the online sales to shops, and to change the key performance indicators so that a head of branch would be actually sort of measured on not just the sales that go through the tools there, but also the online sales and the immediate catchment. So there's a big change in consumer shopping activity, that they're using their own technology, whether it's their laptop, their desktop at home, or their mobile phone, to come in well informed into our shops. And that leaves a real challenge for us, that we need to make sure that we have the right staff, we have the right training and the right equipment to actually sort of match and be in the same kind of level as the customers coming in. So they need to be every bit a multi-channel shopper as the customers coming in. So there's lots of training that we've done so that they feel very confident placing an online order, and indeed are encouraged by offering them their staff discount to place on online orders at johnlewis.com.
Customers just don't want to be tempted. They're sticking to strict budgets, and they don't want to go around a big store selling clothing and homewares because they just don't want to put that top in their basket. They don't want to buy a scented candle that they don't really need. One trend on the high street that hasn't perhaps received the attention that it should is the fact that the frenetic growth of the supermarkets over the last few years could be slowing down. All of the big four supermarkets currently have plans to open about 90 million square foot in 4 years. That's about the size today of Sainsbury's. But we're getting an indication from Tesco, and we think others might follow suit, that people are going to open less new space in the future, particularly big out-of-town supermarkets. Now, Mary Portis's review of the High Street, her recommendations that were announced before Christmas, she's very much focusing on inside the High Street, bringing footfall back in the High Streets. And this new approach to the supermarkets could work in that favour. In fact, it's almost a case of closing the stable door after the horse is bolted, by bringing in the recommendation that there are more stringent rules around out-of-town development.